Everybody, and welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Flynn. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm here with a fantastic Jeremy Mura, and we would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we are creating and streaming from today, and pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Jeremy, how are you doing?
Hey, doing really well. It's raining today, but still ready to get creative.
Yeah, that's it. We were talking on Tuesday about how great like the sunny weather was and everything, and then they're like, hey, there's like another 7 to 10 days of nothing but rain. So cool. But welcome everyone. Hi chat. Johanna's looking after us in chat here. We've got Gareth as well. Welcome. Good to see you. Frank as well. Fantastic to have you here all the way from Montreal. How fantastic is the internet. Super cool for you to be hanging out with us. We're jumping into part 2 of branding and design. We're going to be playing with some mock-ups and things like that. Jeremy's done. We had a great stream on Tuesday, kind of creating the brand. Now we're kind of moving on to the next stage. Also, we're going to be doing some portfolio views as well. So if you're checking this out, Jeremy has offered to stay with us a little bit longer than we normally do. So if you want to have some of your work reviewed, it could be a single project, it could be your whole website. If you've just got a link or something that you would like to share, the fantastic Johanna will collect that. And then when we get to it, we'll get to you. But yeah, Jeremy, should we jump into a bit of a recap about what we did on Tuesday? Where do you want to start?
Sure, man. Yeah, let's quickly go through a recap and then we'll start playing around with some mocks.
All right.
So on Tuesday, basically, we wanted to create a brand for something called Cyberland, which is like a conference for streamers. And this is sort of some of the attributes that we're going for, the audience and the keywords, just to get an idea. And then, we played around, looked at the competitors a little bit, had a sort of a little bit of a mood board, so extracting some things from that. And then we started to actually create the logo. So I'll show you what I actually came up with. So we had sketches here, we had a whole bunch of different fonts. I ended up going with Nimbus Sans. So I had a couple of iterations here like this. So I was playing around with these shapes. I was like customizing a different font here. Dropped some colors. And then I was like playing around with some shapes, some icons, etc. And then this is where we left off. And then I expanded from that and I started to create some color and some design. So I ended up finding this image which had a really nice palette, bold neon greens and a purple. And so none of the brands have this. There's like that's navy. So, all the stuff that we saw, it doesn't really have that color. So we differentiated there. And so I ended up sort of playing around more with that logo, taking that Nimbus Sans font and then, stacking it up using some of these like shapes, trying to, experiment with shapes. I ended up having like this 3D image because I thought of like land.
Pac-Man tennis ball guy going on.
That's what I thought. It felt like Pac-Man. So I ended up scrapping it, but I don't know. I was thinking of like land and like a world and it opens up and I don't know, I just thought it was interesting. And then you can see he started to play around. And then eventually I actually started customizing the type a bit. I started to play around with some icons. So you can see here how I came up with that like Pac-Man shape. I took the C from the logo type here and started like playing with that and starting to create shapes. You can see here, using a gradient to make it look more 3D-ish. You can see some of the ideas here as well.
That's really cool. I like the 3D aspect of that logo. It's quite cool. So it's a bit of a reference on the left-hand side of like a flat version, like non-gradient version as well. Because you have to make sure that it works. If print the gradient very well, or what does it look like as a favicon or whatever. So that's always cool to check out.
100%. So I use that as a reference, and I was like playing around with that. And just going through there, I don't know, playing sort of like with this like eye type of thing, because it's like reference to like visuals and designers. I sort of like this one. It looks like sort of like a badge.
It's like varsity almost, like with the big thick outline and the big
got that 3D effect. So that was kind of cool. And then I was going back to this, like these shapes over here. So you can see here, it started to look like sort of like, like a Pac-Man ghost / like, I don't know, maybe an AI or robot or something down the bottom here. But I was trying to create like an abstract C. So I experimented with like these shapes. And so you can see here, at one point it sort of looked like a dragon to me, I don't know, but anyway, I was playing around with that, and you can see some more iterations here.
Yeah, nice. Those are really nice.
Yeah, lots of fun. And then I ended up getting to this point, and I was trying to come up with the letter C and L. By itself, it might be hard to distinguish, so I ended up trying to simplify it into like sort of this shape. So you can see like a C and an L, but I tweaked it a bit more. And as you can see over here, here's sort of the type that I had. Yeah, so I had this type, and I started customizing things. So like straightening out the Y, it was actually curved. I fixed, like, I moved the B as well. Added a bit of like a slant and a cut in the R. And this N as well, you can add the same thing. So just trying to make it a bit more feel custom. The conference, I went for this, like the outline. So it's an outline version of Nimbus Sand, which is cool. And then you can see like the little icon there as well, like as a secondary logo, or the logo mark basically.
Yeah, cool.
And then you can see this. And I was playing around. Then the icon, I changed it to make it look more like a C, because it was like, it wasn't vibing. Wasn't vibing. Then I was like trying to connect them to get that feeling of like, you know, oneness and wholeness and stuff. And here was like the lockups I came up with. So just like creating different lockups, using typography, using the words as well. So like shortening con to conference to like con, using the CL logo for like Cyberland. Made up like a date, like Sydney, May 25. Then I started playing around with like some of these patterns. So I basically took these shapes, so you can see like all these blocks, right? Which was originally taken from like the C, and I made like an ellipse, and then like that's how I sort of came up with those shapes. Then I started creating like these little patterns here.
Yeah, these are cool. These are super cool.
And it reminded me a little bit of like a racetrack. I don't know why, but I didn't really care.
Like a checkered flag kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit.
I can see it, yeah.
But I just stuck with it. I think it was like kind of cool. It was really nice. And then so I started like putting it on like some, you know, Instagram posts or what it would look like on social media, etc. So you can see here, coming up with like some of the designs here. Come up with like some of these like lanyards, what it would look like. If people have their tickets and stuff.
That's cool. I like the green fading out into the green in the bottom left, like of the logo, and the bottom on the left lanyard, like just down there. It kind of has like a nice kind of vibe to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I started playing around with some other things, like just using some shapes. Took that Pac-Man shape again, see what I could create, and then started seeing like, okay, what it looked like if it was like promoting the tickets. I also did some more just like lockups and things, using the patterns, using color. And then just like using some typography, like I came up with some like copywriting. You can see the logo, see the patterns. I was using some of the experimental gradients in the background.
These speaker, clipping masks are pretty cool, like how that's come through. It's like a unique effect.
Yeah, so basically I took it into Photoshop and I made a clipping mask and put a gradient as well of the brand colors, and then put the speaker inside of the shapes. So it just gives it this unique effect. And I zoomed into their face so you can actually see their face as well.
Nice.
And I could put like some type in the back, like May 25 and whatever. And then like the schedule, it's just a little simple mock. Using the gradient as well, and just using the secondary color. And then so I also came up with like this landing page as well, what it could look like if it was a landing page. So I was using something like 3D elements, because a lot of the other competitors didn't really have 3D objects, so I was just like chucking some of those in, see what it looked like. Using the patterns, using the speakers here.
Yeah, that's cool. And as we're going through this, everyone, just a reminder, you can ask questions. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to jump over to behance.net/live and ask any questions as we're going through. We do actually have a question here. For clients, how much of this would you include in the pitch deck? So yeah, like how much would you share of this exploratory stage with a client?
Personally, I wouldn't share any of I would only share like finished things. So like I'll render a mock-up and I'll design it. So I'll create like a whole deck, 1920 by 1080 pixels, and then I'll have like, I don't know how many slides, 20, 30 slides, and then basically I'll just present you know, the patterns and, you know, the colors and stuff like that. I wouldn't show them like any of like these things.
Yeah.
Typically I don't really do that. Sometimes I'll show like the logo construction, like how I came up with the shapes. But yeah, that's typically what I do. I try and like show them like just a solid identity and how it's like will actually be used.
Yeah. Cool.
And then we've got like sponsors down here as well. So grab some logos, I had to make them white, added the pattern there, tickets button. Obviously I could have worked on this a bit more, but yeah, that's sort of like a landing page. But that's basically where I ended up with, and
nice.
And yeah.
That's super cool. There's also another question. Do you have social templates like this pre-prepared in your library that you can just kind of quickly change for new clients, or is everything made from scratch?
A lot of the times I do use custom mockups. Sometimes I reuse the same mockup, so I'll save that mock PSD file into another client folder. But I also like I have like a template. Where is it? I have like this brand identity template. So I don't know. Yeah, let me open this up. I'll show you sometimes what I use, and you can actually buy this on Creative Market. So typically I'll like use this template I've created. So there's like some cover images, but this is like sort of how I'll lay it out in like a very simple terms, but sometimes the cover will be different, etc. So like I take it through like the brand goals, positioning, the values, you know, ideal customers, so messaging, the brand voice, look and feel matrix. Then I'll have like the stylescape that we selected, or the mood board. And then I'll go through like the logo design concept. So I'll show logo on white, then I do black and white, and then like the logo breakdown. So like, for example, I'll like take, you know, these elements, paste it in, and then like, you know, I'll move the circles. And then like and then I'll write some text like, oh, came up with the idea, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
To show like the breakdown.
That's cool. Hey, can we check out the matrix again that you were showing? It's quite interesting, like different sort of sliders. So these are obviously for things that would be either one way or the other. It's like kind of black and white. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, so during my discovery workshop, my brand workshop with the client, we go through this and be like, okay, what vibe are we going for? And then I'll tell the client, you know, are you leaning more to the left or right? And then basically we adjust all those. So then I can refer back to this, you know, when I'm working on the mood boards, etc. So that's something cool. I use. And then just more of the logo itself, you know, showing it amongst the competitors, variations, before and after shots, if it's like a rebrand of a logo, and then like visual assets, so like patterns, icons, and sometimes I won't show it on white. I'll like put a mock-up and add like the brand colors, etc. And then the typography. So I'll just like, everything's editable, so I can just like go in here and edit everything. Then I'll put the brand colors, you know. So for this one, for example, I'll just go in here.
This is really cool, like having this template prepared that you can, like, I can see how you could quite quickly kind of add any kind of brand exploration to it, and like have a really professional looking document like ready to go fairly quick.
Yeah, 100%. And so it just saves me time. It's all about contact efficiency. So then, yeah, I can come here and like, you know, rename them and whatever, just really easily. And then basically at the end, I've got my mockups and application. So I'll show like small mockups, medium, and big, you know. And then, so what I do, because it's all in Illustrator, I can use InDesign. I got an InDesign version, but I can just come in here, you know, copy paste this, come drop this in here. And hopefully this is like giving people ideas and it's helpful, you know. And I can just drop that in there, and then actually I can get rid of that and just like have the and that's how like I'll start to present my mockups, and I can add stuff and yeah. So usually I use a template like this, just as a baseline, and then I go from there.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's great.
Awesome. All right, let's make some stuff. Posters.
All right, we're going to talk about like how many mock-ups you have at some point. So let's start off with that, because I know we were talking before the stream. You had Bridge open, and there was like a terabyte or something of mock-ups.
Oh yeah, man. I've got a lot. Like, if I show you, let's go to my PC. You can see my project and mock-ups. Look at this.
Wow.
So if I go properties, yeah, you can see it's almost 1 terabyte. It's 860 gigs.
Wow.
And so you can see all my mock-ups in here. So what I love to use Bridge. So what I do is I go to my mock-up packs, that folder I just like showed you then, and I'll basically go through here, and that's how I filter through stuff. It's just loading because I put a
so
keyword.
much.
Yeah, it's because I have a keyword and it's searching. Anyway, but yeah, I've got like heaps, so you can see like branding, showcase, PSDs. We got like textures and as well, like what else? I've got a few. What else? We've got like other. So I've got like Apple mockups as well, and signs.
They're like devices, like
devices, Apple Watch,
tablets,
bus stops.
Yeah,
all that stuff. So hopefully this bridge will open. But anyway, yeah, like I just got heaps. So whenever I have a client project, I have like something for everything, you know.
Yeah.
Whether it's print or digital, I'll always have like a mockup to use.
That's really cool. I like that, like design hoarding of like mock-ups.
Design hoarding, exactly.
It's cool. Have another question. What's your most used or favorite mock-up from there? It's funny because we were talking the other day about like, you know, putting things on tote bags was the thing and what the favorites were. But yeah, out of the mock-ups, like what is the most used, or what's your favorite? Or do you have one? Or there's just too many to choose from? Or what do clients love? Like you see the posters put up, like if you're doing a festival or an event or something, you could definitely see the client like getting really excited about, oh, this is what our poster is actually going to look like. You know, paste it up or something like that.
100%. Usually like I have like logo mockups. Let me just close Bridge because it's goofing out. Yeah, I think like some of my logo mockups I have. Let me see. I got the future bundle. Oh no, actually, Mr. Mockup is really good. So if I go to logo, usually like the enamel pin is pretty cool. So I can do like a pre-made scene. Let me show you what it looks like. So like some of these ones are really cool.
So you can just like create something in vector and then put it into that mock-up?
Yeah, you basically create the logo and then you create an enamel pin inside of Photoshop. And so it basically will use, it will just like, use the inbuilt thing that it's got created.
Wow.
I think also like business cards as well. So some of the ones here, let me show you. Like, here's the preview images. So you can see like some of these, like for example, like one of the, like these ones are really cool. Yeah, stuff like this.
I like the mannequin hand holding it.
Yeah. So for me, I think like these, just like these business cards ones are popular, and then yeah, like there's little putting the logo in a pin and stuff. I think that works really well.
Yeah, that's cool.
So what I'm doing now is basically creating the poster design. So typically what I do, I press Control-Alt-C and get the canvas size, and I'll copy the canvas size, drop it into Illustrator, and then basically I'll start to work on this in here, and then I just copy and paste it into Photoshop really.
So you know it's exactly the right dimensions because you go into the particular mock-up, copy the dimensions, and then create an artboard with those dimensions in Illustrator. So you know it's pixel perfect.
Yeah, that's it. You got it. Cool. And so what I'm doing here, I'm using like the gradient tool just to add some gradients. And then I'll just start pulling like some of the assets. So here. And then
it's a pretty cool gradient for something that was made in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, just keeping things simple, man.
Yeah, it works.
And then so what I like to do is just add like a subtle gradient, and like you see how it's got these red lines. I just press Control H to hide them so it's not interfering in my way. And usually I love to play with transparency, so what I'll do is like, you know, go around, usually like multiply looks cool, or color dodge, or overlay. That's typically like the ones I use. And obviously if I change the color of the background pattern to white, it'll look different. If I change it to like green, it'll look different. You know, it will fade out on the side there. So you just got to use what looks best. I think color dodge looks all right, and I'll put it 20%. Then I'll just bring it to the back by pressing Control Shift and the square brackets.
Yeah, send it back.
Yeah.
Works well.
And then so what I can do is Control G, make a box, and then I press F1, clipping mask, and now this is in the clipping mask, my pattern in the back there.
And F1's not like the standard make a clipping mask, is it? That's something that you've programmed in a shortcut?
Yeah, and I'll show you real quick. Where is it? So basically I've got actions. Actually no, I didn't make it through actions. You can do it through actions, but what I've actually done,
because actions is like something you can record, right? You can press record, create a couple of things that can be replicated, and then stop record, and then whenever you press that button or you start that action, the Illustrator will redo it for you, Photoshop will redo it for you, kind of one thing after another.
100%.
But yeah, creating a new like hotkey, I think is like next level.
Yeah, definitely. So what you can do is you can go to keyboard shortcuts, and like you can go to menu commands, type in whatever it is, like mask, and then you put the shortcut in here. That's one way to make it like global every time you open, or you can do like the action way like I was showing before. You go to actions. I don't know if it's saved somewhere here, and then basically you just like create an F1 key, and then you're good. And then now like I've got F1 to F8, so even if I want to do like a drop shadow or something, you know, for example, I can press F8 and it gets me a drop shadow like that really fast.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
So you've mapped, like, I assume if it's F1 to F8, like the 8 most common kind of things that you find that you use, and then just by pressing a single button, make it super quick. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so
cool.
for me, usually I do clipping masks. So F1 is clipping mask, and F2 is like unmask it, and then F3 and F4 is for compound masks. F8 is drop shadow. F7 is my offset path. F5 is unite, so pathfinder, and then F6 is I think it's like cookie cutter, so it's intersect or something.
Right.
Yeah, so when I like cut shapes and all that stuff.
That's cool. I wonder if anyone in chat has created their own shortcuts or their own actions. Actions were like the hot thing to do when I was in design school. Like when there was things like, you couldn't like export. I think if I remember correctly, the one that I used that everyone was like, oh, how'd you do that? Was being able to export all of your layers as separate like JPEGs and PNGs and stuff like that, which I don't think you could do at the time. And so it was pretty fun, like pressing the play button and just watching like Photoshop do everything for you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I peaked at that point. That was it.
That was your prime. That was your prime.
Yeah. This is cool. Yeah, the gradients are totally working. Johanna's very excited about the enamel pins. So that's super cool.
Yeah, I think Mr. Mockup is one of my favorite I'll show you their website. Yeah, Mr. Mockup is really good. They got like awesome stuff. And so if you can buy the whole bundle for like a couple $100, and you get like billboards, but like stickers, magazines, super high quality, like amazing stuff. Books, papers, frames. Yeah, it's really good. It's really worth it. Like, just if you buy a solid pack, you won't need to like look for free ones. Like, you know, you'll be good. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm pasting the design now and just gonna scale it up. I think my Adobe Bridge is still glitching. I think it's lagging me out actually.
We are streaming at the same time.
Oh my gosh. It's alright, I got a good PC, but I don't want to crash the stream. I'm tempted to like go control delete and like cancel.
So why is this so much bigger and not exactly the same? Because you created it pixel perfect before in Illustrator.
Yeah, so the issue is it's the clipping mask. So because the pattern actually goes further out.
Right. So even though it's invisible. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, unless I go in here and like delete it.
Yeah.
And then redo it, it should be fine. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind when you do this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'll press enter, press save, and then now, there we got it.
Looks cool.
Boom. Looks lit. And then I should be able to change the color of the tapes as well, so.
Oh, nice. Matching colored tape. That's cute. Just love all that stuff that like makes a client like so excited, like so different to showing them like a flat poster in a deck than actually kind of doing these mock-ups. It really does add like a lot of kind of power to it. It also shows like that you're doing a lot, I guess shows that you're doing a lot of work and thinking about this stuff, like what's it actually going to look like.
100%. And it gets them hyped, you know, like it's just super cool. So what I can actually do as well is like if I'm not digging this background texture, I can always like swap it out. You know, so maybe I want to drop another one in. I can put it in the bottom, you know.
Nice.
So it's whatever vibe, like, you know, whatever the conference. It could be indoors, it could be industrial, like, I don't know, it could be like black.
Yeah, if it's like something like a bit more of a corporate event, it might be kind of like a whitish eggshell kind of colored wall. Or I guess you could even, if you knew where the event was being held and it was like a single one-off event, you could even try to match it with what like because this reminds me of like the MCA or something like that here in because that has those big concrete walls out the front that's like really lit, like up in the harbour. Or like the ICC is like a big concrete kind of corporate event venue as well. So that's quite cool.
Yeah, 100%. I've been to the IC a few times now. It's a really nice place.
Yeah. I have like a love-hate relationship because most of the time I'm there, I'm like involved in running an event, and running events is very stressful.
Oh, yeah.
But usually just chilling out.
I'll agree to that. Actually, no, I won't do that. I'll do this one. Then I'll just do like another version. I'll just stick with that. Just take this.
We have another question from Frito.
Yeah.
This is a really tricky one, but maybe we can both weigh in on it. Yeah, I think so.
All right.
You'll have heard this question before. I've recently got my first job designing a logo. How much money should I realistically ask for, considering I'm not an expert yet? They're studying graphic design, but it's their first real commission. This takes me back. This takes me back to wondering.
Man. First
really
logo.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. My first logo was like $20, $30.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff. Yeah, me too. I did a lot of stuff for fairly cheap. Like, definitely not worth the time putting it in, but it's a really good experience. From my perspective, like, I think you should charge something. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, try and charge at least like $500. Like, you know, and obviously like make sure you design, you know, multiple like variations of the logo, do a presentation, like do your best. But if you can get to 500, that's really good. If not, like then do like 250, you know, and just work your way up. Like just don't charge too low, because like you got to all those emails, your time, you know, talking to the client, design, you might need to look for fonts and mock-ups and all that stuff. It's going to take time and energy, right? And even money. So it's like you got to sort of, you know, at least like, you know, yeah, a couple $100 and then build up to, you know, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, etc. over time.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think that's good advice. I would also like mention like it depends on the client as well. Like, you know, what their financial situation is. You know, if it's a close friend, but don't do it for free. That's my main bit of advice. Yeah. I've even bartered for things like, you know, back quite a long time ago. Like if it's a coffee shop or something, it's like, all right, maybe they don't have a lot of money or something like that. It's like, you know, okay, how about I get my coffee for free for a year or something like that?
You can barter, yeah.
Yeah, you could barter a little bit as well. But definitely valuing your time. Like even as a student, you're still a designer, and it's a good experience, and it's great to get that experience while you're studying as well. So yeah, good luck. Let us know if you have any more questions.
Yes. It's good. We all start somewhere, you know. Even for me, I used to go on sites like Airtasker, and I made over $2,000 on there when I was still starting at uni. On the side, you know. And some logos I did $30, then $50, $100. I went all the way up to like 500, and then you know I started finding bigger clients off platform, because you know it just depends, like client wise. Like it could be a friend, it could be like someone you know. But if it's a bigger brand that have customers and money, then definitely charge more. Like don't charge too low, you know. Yeah,
it's definitely the pitfall, and people do it all the way through their career, is undercharging. You know, another way you can think about it is how much time is it going to take you. Maybe you could present that back to the client, say this is going to take about 5 days, and say, you know, I work, you know, I'm a student, I'm happy, you know, or you're a friend, I'm happy to give you a discount. It's always nice to sort of say it's actually would be more expensive, but you're really cool, so we're going to do it for like half price or whatever. That's always a nice thing to do. So they feel that they're getting the value that they want.
100%.
Good luck. It's a scary time. You'll be fine.
Scary.
You'll get there.
Don't scare the kids, man.
I'm not scaring. No, I'm just saying it can be intimidating at the beginning, going through that.
Alrighty, there we go. We got another mock up there. Looks pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
Yeah.
We'll do a tote bag next and see what we come up with.
The tote bag, lovely.
Oh, I'll just leave the tape. I'll go. What do you typically like on a tote bag? Like, what's your thing?
I think the main. It depends. I think tote bags can have like a lot of longevity as well if they're really cool and it's not too much stuff on it. Whenever we've done conferences, I've tried to have like one side be like really, really simple. I might just have the logo, maybe the name or something on it, like in the bottom left corner, so that it doesn't get thrown out like after the conference or something. Yeah. And they can use it to carry their shopping around. It's always fun like seeing like an event that you did like a year or two ago and you see someone like walking around with the bag. I've still got a couple of semi-permanent tote bags from like 2016 or 15 or something like that in my cupboard.
That's cool, man.
I got a couple of Max ones in there from when I went over to the US, because they're not like crazy, like it's not like too nuts.
Yeah.
But that's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like obviously the content within it matters. Like I think having some cool little goodies in there, stickers and stuff, I like getting that. But like, yeah, just I think like cool typography for me. I love having cool type. Like sometimes I've bought, when I go to Cotton On, you got to buy those cotton bags, and then just some of them look really cool, like nice type layout, and it's like, yeah, I dig that. Like,
yeah,
I would hang that in my office or hang that in my like cupboard, you know, stuff like that makes me excited.
That's cool. I think the pattern could play a role here.
100%. That's what I'm gonna use. You know it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. If you caught the stream on Tuesday as well, just at the very, very end, Jeremy was playing with like half circle, and I just immediately get excited about that because it's like, cool. As soon as that half circle came in and then he started playing around with the angles and things like that, suddenly you can really see how useful that device can be for any application. It's like, oh cool, we can create like a pattern with this, we can create these geometric things from the iconography, and it can really apply to like so many different touch points, like pretty much every touch point. And you can use it in a different way. It doesn't have to be the pattern. So like how Jeremy's has it on an angle in up the top left of the screen there, with a different gradient, but it still has that like brand recognition of the conference because it's utilizing that one sort of little device.
Well said.
Johanna wants my tote bags. You're not having my tote bags. They don't even get used because they're like little design artifacts from when we used to physically go to conferences. I didn't realize that they would be so
popular.
Yeah. This is cool. And just a reminder as well, if you're joining us, we'll be doing some portfolio reviews. And also, Jeremy, to let you know, if we're planning on kind of doing it about halfway, that's in about 7 or 8 minutes. We can do some portfolio reviews. And I think you've had some sent to you through your socials. You have a huge social following as well. If you're not following Jeremy, the Jeremy Mura on Instagram, so much great content on there. We should chat about how you can keep up that level of content. I'm very interested and curious in where you find your time. But that's like a whole nother thing. But definitely, I know there's some questions from students and stuff today. Definitely follow Jeremy for stuff like that. There's so much like valuable information, particularly for those getting started, or if you're in a field or area that you're not familiar with. There's tons of useful, great stuff there. And I think we have a couple portfolios through there. And if you're watching today and you haven't sent one through, you feel like it, drop us a link in Behance, and if we have time, we'll check it out, give you some feedback. Jeremy will give you the feedback. I'll probably throw in some comments. we want to hear from Jeremy.
Extra spice.
yeah. I'll just Salt Bae a little bit of extra on the top.
Exactly.
I'll just agree with everything Jeremy says, and then it'll make me seem smart. I'll just go, yeah, I was going to say that. I was totally going to say that.
Love it.
Yeah, we're talking about the design conference, which is on in Brisbane most years. Yeah, Johanna, I think we went up there. I think we all went up together, I think, once. I've been up there 5 times, I think, and I might even go up this year. Pretty keen. It's a great event if you haven't checked it out. And they're also streaming it this year. It's literally called the Design Conference Brisbane, no matter where you are, so you can go and check that out. There's a lot of like fantastic Australian and international artists there. Tons of friends of mine are speaking now, which is always funny. The older you get, that's like awesome. People turn into creative directors and stuff.
Oh yeah, of course.
People I went to school with. That's really funny. But fantastic designers that are there. And it's not just design, it's like illustration and stuff. This stream is not sponsored by the Design Conference Brisbane, but it is a good time. So if you want to check it out, definitely check it out. And there's a streaming option if you're somewhere else in the world. Frank was from Montreal. He was in here. You can check it out. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. And I'm interested in chat as well. Like we're talking about like mock-up packs and things like that. Do you ever create your own? Or do you have terabytes like Jeremy does? I do remember like sometimes you'll be working on a project and like, oh, I really need like a iPhone 11 mock-up or something like that. And you start Googling it and oh my gosh, like the amount of like spamware and like,
oh yeah, you gotta be the free ones, you gotta be careful, man. That's why I like usually buy a lot of my stuff.
Yeah. Well, you get it, you download it, it's like a PNG and you're like, Good times.
That's why I recommend like something like Envato or because it's like a one-time unlimited thing, and you can download it as many like mock-ups as you want.
Yeah. And you just know they're good as well. It seems like a good investment if you know you're going to be working on branding projects and presenting to clients, and even for social media and stuff like that, right? Like you must use it all the time for your posts.
Yeah, I use it. Like that's where I get a lot of my 3D objects. All my 3D stuff is over there. Oh, this tote bag is like folded. So what I'll do, I'll just like make this smaller. I think I'll get rid of this star thing. And
kind of looks leather with the color there.
Yeah, it does, eh?
Leather tote bag. I don't think I've ever seen a leather tote bag. This could be a world first.
Sounds good. All right. Okay, it looks a bit better. Let me just scale this down like that, and okay, cool. Obviously, there's a lot of white space here. I could put something there, but I think for now it looks alright.
Looks good.
And I can always just like change the color around, or just like duplicate it and like test the other colors. So I'm just pressing Control J, duplicate, and so I can just like see what looks best, And then also maybe use one of these textures. Cement, put it above the colors, and then I can do multiply here, so you can see that will look pretty good.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, so you just putting multiply on that color, so it gives it a like color overlay over the top of the cement. So
that's it, and it overlays over all those. So, and then if it's a bit harsh, what I'll do, I'll just like drop the opacity like 50%.
It's cool. Gives it like a subtle little texture.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah. I also want to maybe like get one of these tape things.
And I've always wanted to do the tape. I have no reason to do it. I'm so tempted just to create like super cool tape.
Yeah, do it. It's fun. It always looks good when you see it on like on Behance or something, like a Behance project.
Yeah. For those just joining us, we're here with Jeremy Mura. The Jeremy Mura, that's your Instagram handle, Jeremy Mura. We're having a great time creating a conference called Cyberland. If you've got any questions, throw them in chat. And we have one right now. Hey, Anthony. Anthony says, hi, Flynn and Jeremy. Hello. Really like the color palette you've chose here. So there you go. Shout out to you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
What is the link to where the 3D mockups you mentioned? So Jeremy mentioned a couple of 3D mockup resources. I believe the first one was Mr. Mockups.
Yeah.
Or Mr. Mockup.
I'll show you my best ones.
Cool.
If you do, never mind. I should show you. If you do want to support me, I do have an affiliate link to Envato Elements, so you can just DM me on Instagram and I'll send you a link. I get a bit of kickback.
Cool.
So urbanpostermockup.com. This is for like good posters. We've also got Mr. Mockup, really great. You've got smartobjects.co, as you can see here. Nice phone ones, billboards, and digital stuff, signage. They also have a subscription for that. You've got Mockup Cloud as well. This one is pretty solid. I'm pretty sure they have a subscription as well. You've also got ls.graphics. I'm an affiliate with them as well, so if you want a link, just DM me on Instagram. They got a lot of like cool stuff. Like, look at that, that's lit.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like a scroll thing. Like, yeah, they got a lot of like digital ones. Let me see. Nice website as well. Oh, it's just lagging. So some of this stuff looks really cool. And then you've got originalmockups.com. So you can see they've got iPhones and stuff. It's lagging. That's illustrations. And then lastly, like Envato. So if you go to graphic templates and then you can type like mockups, you got like heaps of stuff.
Which one do you think is the most common you use, or you don't, you just use them so much that you're not really sure which one, which one do you think has the most value, I guess, if someone was going to buy their first
I think Envato, because it has a lot of variety and you get unlimited downloads, and like you can find good stuff. Like even one of these creators called Kavoon, like you can get all these crazy mock-ups and just reuse them on every project, like flags, like billboards, banners, like super high quality. So if you just find like an account on there that's really good, you can do that. And I think the last place I would recommend that not many people know about is Design Cuts. So Design Cuts do like $30 bundles, and you get like every month there's a new bundle. So this month it's vintage graphics, right? But usually they do like a mock-up bundle. But you just gotta keep an eye out every month, and then usually like I've bought like 4 bundles on there, and then like it was just really good.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, I hope that helps Anthony. Hey, we're getting close to kind of. Yep. I think maybe we should do some of the portfolio reviews if we have time. We can come back to the design maybe. So we've got 25 minutes from now.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, happy to do. Cool. So we can get stuck into it.
Yeah, I think so. So if you haven't been here the whole time, I'm going to do a couple of portfolio reviews now. Do a little bit of feedback. We have a handful that have been sent through to Jeremy through his Instagram that we're going to check out. Give a little bit of feedback. If you want to throw yours in Behance, if you would like a portfolio review, we'll do that, and then we'll roll on. It's always good, I think, like learning from feedback as well. Like definitely something from design school was like hearing the feedback for everyone else's work is almost as important as hearing your own. So hopefully there's something for everyone.
Yeah, 100%. Even for me, like I get feedback on some things. Like when I'm working on a logo, I'm like, oh, what do you see? And I send it to my friends sometimes. Even if I'm an expert, like it's good to get feedback. All right, so this one is from Justin Morphew. I think he's a new designer as well. He's got a Behance, so I'll just quickly check that. Okay, so from what I see, there's only just a few images. So he looks like a student, obviously. Let me check his Behance doesn't have much. So from first glance, I like this one here. Obviously, I recommend like trying to create case studies. Don't just show images, because it just shows like you're a student. You haven't really expanded upon that brand. Like even if you just do your own brand, like instead of just doing a business card, like show it in action, do more mock-ups. Even this, like I don't know what's your brand color. Is it just black, or is it like the background's like just like a gray color? I think just try and expand upon it. This is your portfolio. I can see that. The mock-up is cool. I think like the typography and stuff needs some work. But yeah, try and show your best work, or like try and do a fake brief and then build your portfolio like that, because obviously you're just starting out. Like this is a high quality image. It's not blurry, which I like, and the logo is really cool. Like I can see it's like a nice little script logo. But yeah, there's just no context. I don't know what project this is. Is it a student project? What is it? So I think just like try and work on that, man, and expand on it and build it. And yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it looks like a menu for like a restaurant or like a whiskey bar or something like that. So you could start thinking about like if, Googling whiskey bars or, whatever it is, wine bars and things, and think, well, what are some of the situations that we need to design for? Like even like coasters or something like that with, do a little mock-up with a, glass of whiskey in it or a wine or things like that. What does their signage look like out the front, or their hoarding out the front of their establishment? You could even expand on that. And what does their social media look like? What are social media posts, kind of what might they look like? So you can kind of just keep kind of growing out from the original idea that you had to like fatten up your student portfolio. It's always a good thing.
100%. And what I would recommend is just go on Behance and type like restaurant or whiskey, whatever the thing is, and like look at what someone else has done, and like just try and do mock-ups, like whatever. We're talking about like a whiskey bar. Just try and look up some design and stuff, and then just like and get ideas and do the best you can, really. So like look at this stuff. This is really dope. This is probably photography and stuff, but you can see
Yeah, but you can
Pretty
create
cool.
something similar with mock-ups and things like that as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. So it's just, all you need is creativity. Alrighty. So we've got VJ Singh. He sent me this called It's Mintable, a new brand project he did. So overall, first glance, I'm digging this. I just want to go to his profile to see what the cover image he picked. Okay, so the cover image is different. Because I was going to say this mock-up looks good, but on a cover, it wouldn't be that like engaging. So this one looks a bit more engaging. I like that. He's also got another project there, which is cool. So overall, it's good. This text is not readable, man. So like, this needs to be white or a bit lighter, a lighter gray. Because on a black background, it's very harsh. It's good how you have your client name, challenge, and solution. That's really good. So it's treating it like a case study. Mock-up, looks realistic. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Scroll down. Digging the color palette. Digging the clean type. I think a bit of kerning issue here between the T and the A needs to be adjusted. But that's just a small nuance. What else? Scrolling through. That's cool. Adding a GIF. The only thing is it's a bit pixelated. I think maybe because it's really large. But anyway. Cool mock-up. App icon. Digging that. That looks good. Got a sign. This sign feels disconnected to me from this. Like, I don't know. It just feels like that. This one feels more corporate, and this feels a bit more chill, like a, I don't know, like like a nightclub or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's kind of a different kind of vibe. They both look really good, but they're a little bit at odds with each other.
Yeah, correct. I'm not sure what's going on here, like what this stuff is, like these images. Like, is that photography? Is that like part of the social graphics? I'm not sure. So this section feels a bit clunky to me. What else? This looks good.
I think it's like an app within the NFT space, so it's like an example. Like, I think it's added in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, in that context,
should have
where
showed
it's
it like
sitting
this.
there.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then it will give context. Because I'm a bit confused there. That looks good. Create and sell, collect premium NFTs. Alright, cool. Overall, like, yeah, I think it's good. Like, you're using decent mock-ups. It would be good to see some more messaging. Like, obviously, some messaging here. But really, I think that's it. Like, even on here, there's no messaging. Here's a little bit. But I think it would be cool because, like, NFTs are all, like, online and digital. I didn't see much digital. Like, I didn't see a landing page or, like, you know, a website or something, or like an app in use, like an app screen, for example. I think just adding some of those will give more context, make it a lot more better.
Cool. Yeah, that's good feedback. I think, like, because yeah, it is in that space. It is in that digital space. So perhaps a website would probably give a bit more like weight to what you're trying to, like, the market that you're in. Probably more so than like an actual physical building with the logo on it. Although that looks super cool. Yeah.
Totally agree.
Cool.
Cool, man. Awesome. On to the next one, Thomas Newman. So first up, we got like this website. Personally, I don't know if I'm a fan of like free screens. Like, I have to click a button to get in, because remember, people have low attention spans. They want to get straight to looking at your work. So it's like adding a barrier to entry. It's like, oh, like, what do I do here? I don't know. Like, there's no. It might be a bit weird, but I love how you're adding illustration and making it fun. That makes me feel like you're more creative. So I'm just gonna click enter, and then hopefully it takes me. Okay, cool. And so your website feels different. Like, this feels clean and minimal compared to the previous page. Like, maybe just like think of like how your brand is more consistent. All right, let's just quickly scroll through. Okay, so I can see like some illustrations here. Logo design, graphic prints, animation, and logo. So I can see logo branding, illustration. Okay, cool. For me, I used to brand myself as like an illustrator as well, but I realized that I'm more focused on logos and brand identity. It's hard to actually be like good at all three of those things, to be honest. Unless you're like someone like Von Glitchka, who's really good.
Alex Trichet. Yeah. Yeah, that is true, and I think it can be a bit of a pitfall because you might enjoy doing all of those things like in design school and coming out, but actually like the life of a graphic designer and the skills that you want to develop there could be quite different to the life of a illustrator.
100%. So I can see there's a testimonial here. I think just at first glance it's a bit hard. Like maybe have some hierarchy, like, and you can just say like, you know, your client or whatever instead of like say kindly shared. I think that's, yeah, sometimes text can be redundant. Just try and simplify things, be direct, straight to the point. I could see some images here. I liked how you did a few versions of the logo. That's good. Always like expand, don't just do one version. Like play around, maybe do a badge, maybe do, you know, like a cool like sticker version or something. Like I like seeing that. I like how you're also describing like some of the rationale. That's really cool. I can see this balanced and structured. Also, like, don't let like these like little text distract from the construction. Like that's why typically when you see presentation, you see like minimal text on the side just explaining stuff, so it's not just taking away from the actual design itself. This looks good, looks elegant. Like this image. You got that looks all right. I don't know why it's not centered, and I think the perspective is a bit off. I don't know. It feels a bit weird.
Like the mock-ups, you mean? Like how everything's kind of bottom
mock-up
right?
Here, yeah, I don't know. It feels like it's floating. Obviously, it's a floating mock, but I don't know. Maybe because it's not centered. I don't know. It feels, yeah, just a small thing. And yeah, hopefully I don't sound harsh. I'm always I just try and be constructive, like, you know. Yep, love this. This is awesome. Love that mock-up. Super high quality. Looks good, especially for like a high-end, like physical stamp and texture and like leather and things like that really work. I like how you're incorporating the logo with photography. That's really good, solid, and the contrast here is very good. Love that. And then your color palette. I think just saying like color palette, like try and like block things out into sections if you can. And even this, like this doesn't, yeah, try and just make it a bit more, I don't know, just feel more like structured and laid out and explained a bit more, I guess.
That's cool. So like some titles and just explaining this is what you're looking at, like just
yeah,
contextual.
like headlines.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't know about you, but I'd probably put the quote at the end.
Yep, correct. I usually do that as well, to be honest. But yeah, it's better to see the results first and then like, okay, what did he say at the end? You know, 100%. Yeah. I think that was probably like a few minutes on that. I'll just quickly look at his other work. Okay, this is nice. I like how you laid out this. More easier. Just try and bold the headings. Okay, he did it on Good Brief. That's really good. I love how you're explaining.
What's Good Brief? Do you know what that is? I don't know what that is. Is that like a brief generator or something?
Yeah, brief generator. Yeah,
okay,
basically.
Cool.
Yeah,
super useful, guys, as well, if you're looking for a brief. Like, it'd be so good to just grab a brief from something like that to give you some direction when you're trying to fill out your portfolio. So definitely recommend.
Okay. All right, so this project I feel like is better than the last one. Just has more structure, like sections, bit more text explaining things. Yeah, obviously, like, yeah, mock-ups, more mock-ups would be good, but yeah, I think overall it's a good start. It's a good start, man.
Cool.
All right, I think we've got one more here. So this is from Graph Storm. He's one of my friends from Instagram. These guys do amazing work. So he's their logo designer. So they got like heaps of logos. So we'll select one and let's pick this one. This looks cool. Food and beverage. Logo potion, logo design. During the logo process, we use paper, pencil, Adobe, and Photoshop. So I don't think a client would necessarily care what tools you use, to be honest. I think it's like pointless saying that. Like, it's better to talk about the brand, like what was this project about, what is it for. Love seeing sketches like this, especially for custom type logos. So this is when I think showing like your process is good, like just some sketches. But I wouldn't show like my artboards and like all the like stuff like that. You want to show like the final product, because then they think like, oh, you didn't really spend time and work on it. It's just like half, sort of like you didn't give it 100% sometimes. But yeah, this is amazing. Love seeing sketches. Looks like it duplicated for some reason. It would be so it would be good to like have more context, like what was the client, what was the goal, the challenge, what was the sort of strategy you're going for. The mock-up looks cool, simple. This is hard to read, so I would probably blacken the background maybe, or I don't know, add a shadow or something.
Yeah, I found it a bit hard to read as well.
Yeah. 100%. All right, let's go. Let's try and find another one.
It's really cool. I find that logo really interesting, like how it's created. Even if like the going back and the sketching is a little bit fictitious, that's totally fine. Everyone does that.
Yeah, of course.
But it was definitely like really interesting. Some cool shapes to play with.
Definitely. All right, I think this is probably one of his recent ones. So Wood Soul. Okay, this is good. Name, bit of description. I think that's cool. Monogram looks great. I think that's really solid. I probably would have worked on the type here. There's kerning issues here between the W and the O. I don't know if the font matches the monogram. I don't know. I think it's just more of a subjective thing, but I don't know, just sharing my thoughts. This is really good. Like this layout. Readable, clean, nice photography here, or images on the side. Woodsaw is a manufacturer. Beautiful. So give me context. Showing me a mood board. This is really good. Love how you laid it out here. Like sort of like a montage. Looking great. Requirements and challenges. That's good. Maybe even like using some of the wood imagery again here, or something similar. Because I don't know. Obviously, you're just showing like talking about your process, but I don't know. Maybe you can add to the actual overall storytelling or something by picking another image. Preparation. So showing the brand keywords. That's really good. Process. Also, like sometimes a lot of text is not the best. Like even cut it down to one paragraph if you can. Just like very simplified.
Yeah, like how much are people actually going to read? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've learned. Okay, that looks cool. Breaking it down. It would be good to like have like a little like caption that says like lowercase, uppercase, numbers. Remember, just over explaining things, and it also looks cool like when you use typography as well. Color palette. Yeah, I don't mind seeing that. That's okay. We pick these natural colors for the brand. These colors reflect elegance, stability, and quality. Okay, pretty simple. The web design. Okay, so this looks decent, but I don't know why it's like really half. It feels like it's chopped off or something.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit tiny. I mean, I guess if it's like going to be a cascading kind of image-based kind of thing, you kind of get it. But yeah, it does look like it's been cut off a bit.
Yeah. Because I don't know, we're just used to seeing like big websites a bit longer. But anyway, the phone thing looks cool though. I just don't like how it's on a white background. Feels like, yeah, like it's not connected. You always want to try and connect it. So even like adding a shadow, like behind the whole hand and everything, and then just like putting it on, like on one of the brown colors. So expanding on those like the color palette. I think that's cool. Social media. Okay, that looks solid. Love this. For like a Facebook, that looks good. I like this. This is good. This feels different, like a bit of a dynamic layout. You got some shapes in the back, got some showing the Instagram posts. I think that's cool.
Cool. I'm just letting you know we've got 10 minutes left for our stream today.
Okay, no worries. And I think that's it. Those are my thoughts on that, and I think that's everything we've checked out today. Cool.
Great.
Thanks guys for sending those through. Was that helpful? Hopefully whoever's watching, hopefully that was helpful, guys.
Yeah, nice. So we've got about 10 minutes to jump back into the design recap. And we're back to a sea of gradients and greens. A lot of that artwork was like really clean and crisp and everything like that. I love coming back to like the cutting room floor where it's like where like the magic happens. And it's the messy middle.
Yep. This is the factory behind the scenes.
Annika, go to bed in chat. You've been up, you're streaming this morning, doing all sorts of stuff. You need to make sure you get some sleep. Lovely to see you, of course. Thanks for hanging out with us. But 1 a.m., need to get some sleep. feel like design dad, just telling everyone what to do.
Yeah.
Have you ever used tape in a project? I'm so like infatuated with it. Like always get these, I can't remember the company that prints them now, but they're always on special. I'm like, oh man, I have nothing to print on this. I'm not going to waste, like I shouldn't
I
waste.
haven't personally, bro, but I think it always looks really cool though.
Yeah.
To be honest. But yeah, I don't think I've had a client that's like needed it.
Yeah.
It's always the cool stuff that we want to do, you know, like.
Yeah, we're talking in a stream about adding foils to, like in the printing process. It's like sort of something you do if you just find that you've got like extra little bit of budget.
Yep.
Like we could just put a foil on the logo. It'll look kind of cool. Maybe we just do that.
Yep. And that's why I was listening to a video this morning. She was like, what you do when you do like the brand presentation or guidelines, whatever, you put a mock-up of like the business card in a foil, and then you basically, it shows the client, oh, we could do a foil thing. And like, you're sort of like, you're pitching that thing, like subconsciously. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like smart.
So why is it upside down and backwards?
Yeah, I don't know. Because it just when I do it like this, it's not. I have to like flip it. Let me flip it. I don't know. It's just the way the mock-up is done. Unless I rotate it. Transform.
You have to try. It's like putting a USB in and it's wrong like every way. That's cool. We don't have to dwell on it. I was just curious.
Yeah, see, look, it doesn't. I don't know why it's not changing. Unless I like flip the whole thing, you know. Unless I do this, but then I gotta. Anyway, doesn't matter.
It's all good. Frank's saying, yeah, love the tape mock-up. Yeah, me too. Something really cool about it.
What's the color? Okay, it's this. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that little bit of texture goes a long way, doesn't it? Like just adding that wood in behind.
It does, dude. Like. Let me try something else. Oh, that's fabric. Linear bone looks good. So you can see the texture. You can always add noise as well. That's always a good thing. Add a bit of noise and.
So is that when you're working with textures, you want to add a little bit of noise in the overlay on the color over the top, or the texture itself, or what do you mean by that?
Just like in the background on the color. So I'll go like filter, add noise, rasterize. So you can see adding the noise effect also adds texture as well. Like if I turn this off, you can see the noise, but it just adds that extra, like, I don't know. And you can always add it on top of like the actual mock-up and image as well. But yeah, if you want like a grungy effect,
nice.
But you can see it adds a bit more. Cool. I think that's good.
Yeah, we've got about two, maybe 3 minutes max left, I would say. So maybe we could do a bit of a recap. Yeah. I know.
Cool, yeah. All right. Well, let's recap. So, yeah, Cyberland online and offline conference. This is what we started with, like the research, sketches, playing around with the typography, finding a nice font, exploring it, being a bit more experimentative. Then we found, you know, nice color palette, playing with shapes, trying to create a logo mark and then also a logo type. And then doing some different lockups to like put it all together. Playing around with shapes. and then finally landing on a logo. So different versions. You got horizontal, the vertical, you know, stacked version, just the type version, some other stacked versions there. Playing around with some shapes, as you can see.
Love the shapes.
Thanks, man. Me too. It's fun. And then like just putting those together, playing around with some other things. That's how I created the speaker thing. And then overall we created this cool brand. You know, got the mock-ups, sort of what a landing page could look like. You know, for the posters. Playing around with typography, color, gradients, experimenting with gradients as well, as you can see there. And the type. And playing around with the tote bag, and yeah, and that's usually, and like you can keep going and create as many mock-ups as you want, and as many like extra little things, and yeah, and then basically I'll put it all together in like a Behance case study. I'll probably do that with this project, and then I'll design it all nicely, and yeah.
That's super cool. And like some of the feedback and portfolio feedback was exactly this, like expanding out and how far you can expand out from just a logo to like a full-fledged project, and using mock-ups to make it look realistic and show it in situ, and you know, add a lot of, you know, just keep adding to kind of expand from the project. Super cool. We'll get cut off if we don't say our goodbyes. So thank you everyone for being here with us on Tuesday, and also today on Thursday. We'll be back next week with some more graphic design goodness. Jeremy, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been a pleasure, and lovely to watch you work, and been fun hanging out.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Had a blast. Thanks.
All right. Thanks everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See you guys.